The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. I've done this video a few times, thankfully. Every time I do it, and I know it's a repeated topic, more and more idiots kind of shave off. And I get to kind of the heart of the conversation. And basically the topic is, hey, if you put more money into comics, eventually you get better talent. And it's still true. It's still true. Even I'm still burned by it. There's a guy who continues to kind of argue with me in email. And I'm not reading. I should actually just do a video of all the arguments. But at some point, I mean, I've engaged in a conversation now. So it seems like breaking a trust, to actually do a video on it. But the guy is very determined to prove the point that my comment of you should put more money into comics is socialism. And the logic that this person uses is, you, the customer, buying the comics, therefore you're putting your money into a pool. And then if people use your money in a way that is incongruent to your beliefs, then it is in effect socialism where you're paying people to do things. I can't even reason this out well because it's so stupid. But that's the logic. But basically, the idea is, my perspective is that one of the biggest problems you have in comics is there's too little at stake. And this is a hard pill to swallow. I've talked to some creators recently, and they hate this from the standpoint of this is their chosen profession. And they don't like to hear the idea of, there's not enough money in this, but it's true. They know it's true. There's plenty of comic creators who can't afford dental care. And that's an indication. There's not enough money in comics. If I'm hiring an executive assistant or an admin, a new one. And, the salary for this person is going to be basically probably about $140 a year plus benefits. So that's a good salary. And there's absolutely no reason in the world that a person who, is going to handle calendar, email, and travel arrangements should be making more money than somebody who is drawing comics or writing comics. I mean, there you're creating art, and that art, if you do a good job, gets translated into billion-dollar movies. I'm sorry, you should be making good money for that. I believe it. Now, here's the part that always gets people hung up, and they forget this part, is if you suck at that job, if you write shitty comics, if you draw terribly, and you create nothing of value, then of course you shouldn't get paid high dollar. But you shouldn't get paid low dollar either. You should get paid nothing. If you write terrible work that doesn't sell, you should not have a job in comics. To me, this is always where I feel like the argument takes a left turn, because you're like, well, you shouldn't pay those people good salaries. You shouldn't pay those people any salaries. Any. $1 is too much. If you're writing something that, makes less than it costs to produce, lowering your salary is not the right answer. That's shrinking the pool. Instead, you should get that person out of there. You should pay more money and get somebody talented. And then, the life gets good. And I understand the argument, by the way, of, well, money doesn't always equal talent. It doesn't, but it's a pretty damn good indicator, because it turns out people who are talented know what they're worth. And if you know what you're worth, then, you ask for good money. If you know that the work you're going to be doing is going to be translated into a $500 million movie, then yeah, you shouldn't be making $60 a page. I mean, for sure. But comics has kind of crept into this where, again, I hate to say it, because I have sold and continue to sell these books. I work on all this with passion and with love. But look, comics is too much of a hobby industry. It operates too much like, a high school club as opposed to a business. In a business, you manage the P&L, you pay top dollar, you get top talent, you weed out the lower talent, and you're meticulous about the amount of money you're making. Too much of comics is farting around with just nonsense stuff. Yeah, this is a business. Now, granted, as somebody who enjoys the art and loves the story, and a lot of creators get themselves into this mess, where like, well, but it's the art of the story. Yeah, it is, but if the story art is good, and by this I mean the creativity, not necessarily the art, but the creativity. If the creativity is good, then it will sell well. So you could say it's not about the money, but if you do a good job, it's about the money. It all winds up in the same place. But you can't use the, hey, it's not about the money as an excuse to turn in shitty work. And that's a lot of what happens. But here's an alternate point of view. And I realize we're half the way through this video, but here's this alternate point of view. A mail came in. Could more money hurt comics? Okay. I have not read this email, so I'm reading it live as we do this together. But I'm guessing from the subject line, this person is completely bait and switching the entire email, which would make me look like an asshole, and then I just delete this video and never get run. I'm pretty sure this person's going to give an opposing view. Now, thankfully, a lot of the people who write in are thoughtful people, so I'm sure this is not a stupid point of view, so let's find out for ourselves. It says Perch. There's no Perch Perchington. There's no Hello Perch. There's no Hey Baby. Just Perch. Perch. I've often heard you make the claim that more money would bring in better quality comics. While most of me believes this, a smaller part of me has this nagging feeling it could make it worse. While I think everyone should be paid what they're worth, a lot of people nowadays want to more pay for doing less work. It's true. By the way, the solution to that, accountability. And accountability comes in two forms. Either the employees of the company hold people accountable to, turning in good work and thus earning their money, or the marketplace holds the company accountable by driving them out of business when they turn in shitty work. It's one of those two. Anyway, I remember watching a video about the founding of Image Comics. They talked about one of the comics becoming a hit and making the artist a lot of money. And after that, it was hard for them to get him to work because he was out spending his money. I'm assuming we're talking about Rob Liefeld here. I think that's all true. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe Rob Liefeld's not the person. I don't know. Who is the baller of Image Comics? Well, I mean, it's not Eric Larson. Just look at the way he dressed. Sorry. With already a shortage of quality comic creators, would paying people more bring quality creators out of the woodwork? If so, where are they coming from? Or is this like Arby's employees wanting more money while they consistently get my order wrong? I love that Arby's is just, okay. Could comics injected with more money still lead to less quality as they don't care enough to refine their work and we end up paying more money for bad comics? Would finding quality creators already be paying them more if these comics sell more, not work better? Hang on, that last sentence got all butchered to hell. Would finding quality creators already here paying them more if their comics sell more but not work better? Okay. I don't know. So, look, yes, the answer is to pay them more. And in the end, you hold the people you're paying more money to accountable for their work. You could do this a number of ways. For a while, I was down on the idea of paying people more, but paying them through stock or revenue shares. So basically, hey, if you're going to write a comic for Marvel, then you should make more money if the comic sells more. And I think that is a good idea in most industries, but not in a one where people allow their teeth to fall out of their head because they won't go to the dentist, or kind of random people who are like super into doing a GoFundMe to afford kind of their home because they're so shitty with their money and they rip off their backers and their people consistently, and they take money for commissions and they take 2 to 3 years to supply them, if ever, and they welch out of deals. And I'm talking about Tess Fowler. But if you're going to do that kind of stuff and then you're going to be homeless, I'm sorry that you're homeless, but like A plus B equal, or what, those are letters, they don't add up, but 1 plus 2 equals 3. At some point, it's like, look, the behavior led to this. So I am making a huge assumption. When I say you should pay more in comics, I believe it. And when I say you should pay revenue share, yeah, that works if your people are bright enough to know what to do with it. Now, in fairness, like, look, you take a Sean Gordon Murphy and you say, his new deal at DC is he's going to get a rev split and a commission beyond what he normally gets. He's going to get equity in Warner Media. Yeah, he's going to know what to do with that. He's going to invest it, and that's going to work out just great for him. But others, probably not. So you do have to have a certain caliber of people who understand the value of money in order to really make this work. And if you don't, then yeah, it probably won't work. But, pay more people and hold them accountable. You got to hold them also accountable. And those two have to go together. It's critical that they go together. If you don't put them together, then you're just throwing good money after bad. Don't do that. But, most people who have good money to spend are not idiots. They don't throw good money after bad because they understand what a stupid fucking decision that would be. So, they go hand in hand. Now, granted, maybe I'm making a crazy assumption that people who are paying, higher dollar for comics are going to naturally do the right things. And maybe that's a bad assumption. And okay, fair. That's fair. But generally, people should pay more for comics, get more talent, and then hold that talent accountable. That's the way it should work. And if you run that model, by the way, this is not masterclass genius level, business. Anyone in their right mind, whether you're running an Arby's or whether you're running a comic company, should understand the prospect or the value proposition of pay more money, expect more in return. The end. Simple as that. Anyway, thanks for writing. I grant you, letter writer is correct. If you don't do both, you suck. Thanks for listening.